afternoon to you. This is Steve talking to you on Wednesday, the 16th of November. And it's late lunchtime out at the Memorial Parks and the 4th Street Park and all of that. Very familiar area lately. Well, I thought I would do a little catching up since it's been a little bit of a piece since I've put anything out. And I had recorded something last Saturday and Friday, but I think I'm going to opt for giving the updates here and replace those. Let's see. First of all, maybe I've mentioned in recent podcasts that I haven't been feeling real great since October 24th. Just something feels like it's changed. So, didn't know quite sure what to make of it. So I knew I had a cardiologist appointment on Monday. So I was waiting until I could get there and ask some questions. Well, at the end of last week, I was wondering if I was going to get it that far. I just really wasn't feeling very good. But Friday night, I had gone to a memorial service for our friend Jim Crook. And then Saturday was the 5K walk and run. Now, I made the mistake when I got to the walk and run.
Switching to accelerometer. GPS on.
Thank you. I made the mistake of picking up a walker's bib instead of a runner's bib. But the night before, I really wasn't feeling very good, and I wondered if I was going to participate at all, maybe just walk. So I was really feeling iffy. Went home from the memorial service and just did some work on my back where I was feeling these weird pains. Just massaging them, using a foam roller, using a handball / tennis ball, something, but it worked it lightly. I felt so much better on Saturday, so went ahead with the plan and set up a 2-minute run, 1-minute walk arrangement for the 5K. And everything went okay. I didn't feel odd, didn't feel any pain or nausea or anything like that. And finished with a better time than I did in July for that 5K. Wasn't trying to, just that's the way it worked out. So the rest of that day was good, and Sunday was good, Monday was good. Monday went to see the cardiologist and told him what I'd been feeling, and he said, well, everything checks out. They did an EKG. Everything seems to check out normal, but I've been burned a couple of times this year where people seemed to be okay, and the next day they had a heart attack. So let's go ahead and schedule a stress test for you. A nuclear stress test. So that's going to take place next Monday, the 21st. And left the appointment, went back to work. The day was fine. Yesterday, I did not feel that good at work. So I just worked a half day, and then I went home. I didn't sleep all that well the night before, and so I decided to take extra rest. So I went home, dozed for a little bit like I usually do, 5 to 10 minutes, and then around 8 o'clock started falling asleep. So finally went to bed at 9 and slept till about 5:20 this morning.
Steady. 35 minutes at 12 minutes per mile.
That was the goal if I were running, but I'm not.
Go.
Oh, there we go. I guess the warm-up is done. Yeah, I haven't. Carlos has been sending me settings for I Run Smooth. I haven't tried anything yet, but I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I guess it's nice. Includes a warm-up, 5 minutes warm-up, and then your 12-minute pace for 35 minutes. Let's see, where was I? So I just rested the rest of yesterday. Feel much better today. And So the next thing on that schedule is the stress test. So I tried to look up what is a nuclear stress test. And it goes something like this. They hook you up with electrodes, and they hook you up to an IV, and then they shoot some radioactive dye into you so they can get a good image of what your heart is like at rest.
21 seconds behind.
Then they put you on a treadmill. I guess if you're not well enough to go on a treadmill, they shoot something into you to make your heart work or do something as if you had just worked out, which sounds horrible. I can't even imagine. Can't imagine what that is. So I think I'll be on the treadmill. And then you will be working out until one of the following happens. And it's like you've met the goal. Like maybe you ran at so many beats per minute for so long. And then, if you can't achieve that, maybe you're experiencing severe chest pain. Gosh, I don't want that. Or maybe you're having difficulty breathing. Yeah, okay, that's maybe a little bit better. Or you're feeling dizzy, or you're feeling in all of these things, and it's like, oh boy. So we'll see. I will report after Monday on how things went. But then the idea is they shoot dye into you again and see just where blood is flowing or not flowing. Because the doctor said that there's a possibility that there's something else that's narrowing or blocking and giving you trouble. So I would rather know and get it fixed than keep all of this guessing and not feeling well. So that's my health update. So with that, I'm not running for now. I'm taking a walk right now. So I will probably just keep taking good walks until Monday. So I don't know. We'll see how I feel. If I feel up to doing a little bit of jogging, we'll do that. But I think caution is probably the best thing right now. Something tragic happened at church on Saturday. So while I was out at the run down in Philadelphia, just about noontime, there was a work day happening inside our youth center gym. And that's been going on for some months, just when they have time to schedule getting some work done. They were putting up new walls, and this work day they were supposed to be high up on ladders and scaffolding. And one of the men was right at noon where they were finishing up. He had been putting insulation up all morning, and he'd been going up and down a ladder, and he was going up one last trip. And I think either the ladder was leaning against scaffolding or was right next to scaffolding, and he was shifting his weight off of the ladder, and the ladder's feet slipped, and both he and the ladder came crashing down. And he came down very hard and hit his head. So as of right now, he is in an induced coma. Has been since Saturday. Lots of blood, some broken ribs, and he's in very critical condition. So his name is Don. Don is our small group leader of the small group that I go to for East Swamp Church. And Don is 70 years old, but a very young 70, very active. He's always been a hiker. Just loves being outdoors, and Very generous-hearted, always lends a hand. He came out to help chop wood the most recent wood chopping day at my house. He's also given me plenty of wood. Even lent me, for my mother-in-law, one of those electric chairs that helps you get up out of a chair if your legs are giving you trouble. So just a very giving and generous fellow. And they honestly don't know if he will survive, or if he survives, what kind of recovery he will have. Is there brain damage? If so, to what degree? Yeah, so today at 1 o'clock, so it's after 1 o'clock, it's actually after 2 o'clock, at 1 o'clock the family was supposed to be meeting with the doctors for an update. I don't know what they will or won't know. I think they are trying to bring Don out of the coma to see if he can respond. I think they did briefly take him out yesterday, and he blinked his eyes and he was able to open them, and things seemed to be okay, but still a lot unknown right now. So if you're inclined, please pray for my friend Don. So that just kind of piggybacks on top of Tom, who I was meeting with over coffee, and he had a seizure and blacked out in front of me, and then turns out he has stage 4 brain cancer. And then, of course, I started the year off with a severe heart attack, so we're falling apart over here. Let's see, away from immediate medical concerns, back to running. Okay. So once my heart gets to be where it's supposed to be, I've been trying to address some things. I'm reading one of Phil Maffetone's books right now. It's the Big Red Book of Health and Exercise, or something like that. And just went through some chapters on inflammation. And I've had, he starts to say something about inflammation being like, hey, chronic inflammation is a bad thing, and left unchecked, it can turn into something chronic. It was not a friend waving at me. That was somebody upset about the way this 4-way stop worked out. I start to think back of different issues I've faced that have or haven't gone away, and like my lower leg, my right foot, it's like, it's been that way for about 2 years. That's chronic. Need to fix that. So I've made a lot of big adjustments with my diet recently, and I don't know, it's like, why can't I ever get the tenderness out of my lower legs? Even when I was laid up for a couple of months back in February, March, April, that tenderness never went away. Why is that? So there's something underlying that I need to try to address, but it's how to address that. Doctors don't really, I don't know, unless they're a very holistic doctor, they only address what you're complaining about. My father-in-law, another issue. Father-in-law went to the hospital on Friday because his kidneys weren't functioning. They think they've got that under control, but it's like, okay, they're addressing his kidneys not functioning. Gosh, have you heard him breathe? His labored breathing. And unless, I don't know, the medicine today, it's like they'll address the issue you came to see them about, that you are most concerned about. But you're a whole person, and there's whole pieces of you to put together. So, for those who do treat people holistically, wow, sure wish you could find one around. It's like Phil Maffetone seems like that is his MO. It's like get the whole person, come to the clinic and ask lots of questions, find out all about the person. So, how do you find somebody to help? Hello. Good. They look good.
What's that?
Said they're looking good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just out for the day?
What's that?
Just out for an afternoon walk?
Yeah, I just got home from work, and it's our ritual.
Okay.
Go home, clean up a little bit, leash them up, and take
Yep.
them around the park.
Yeah. Well, they look real friendly.
They are for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part. Have a good afternoon.
You too. So, walking a couple of German Shepherds. Yeah. They're friendly if you're friends. Look out if you're not. So how do you get in somebody's, how do you get to it? How do you find a doctor who's going to take into consideration all of these things? That's what I'd like to know. So anyway, working through his book and thinking about inflammation and what I can do to combat that. Obviously there are foods to avoid. And for a large part I'm avoiding them, but I guess there's always more.
Distance 1 mile. Average pace 17 minutes 43 seconds per mile. Cadence 20.
Something I do enjoy a lot is dairy.
Minutes 13.
Not all dairy sits well with me. Ice cream. Ice cream does not work. We do not get along at all. We can be in the same room together, but that's about it. Pizza, slices of cheese and this or that, cheese and eggs. I love that, and it doesn't bother me. But even while Phil Maffetone would say, you don't have to eliminate cheese, but if you're trying to get inflammation under control, it could be one of those things that's leading to a fats imbalance. So I think I will go on a dairy fast for a couple of weeks. Except, so even though I know that I'm having dairy on Saturday, maybe I'll restart after Saturday, but one of my nieces who married into a pizza family in Philadelphia, Coco's. Seems like I think they are the same people, and all the Coco's pizzerias down in Philly. Seems like there's half a dozen. Anyway, we're having pizza Saturday at Coco's. I'm sure I'll have some dairy there. So I've been having every morning coconut oil and a little pat of butter in my coffee. So I'm going to suspend the butter for the time being and see what I can do. I also tried to add Phil Maffetone as a friend on Facebook. And maybe I will message him and see if he has any recommendations. I'm always a little shy about doing something like that where you know somebody is in high demand. I don't want to bother them. They've got all the things they're trying to do. And who am I? Somebody unknown, unseeable, etc. But I'll try. Saturday, besides going to the pizzeria, is the homecoming dance. And our daughter is going to the homecoming dance with this young man that we've been seeing around for a little while. I think he's slowly warming up to us. It's very quiet. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But she and her friend It's funny, she and her friend Ellie, both of the boys who are taking them to the homecoming dance have the same first name, so it's kind of funny that way. Or do they? Yeah, I think they do. And then next week is Thanksgiving. Wow. Going to have many things to be thankful for. Hope my in-laws will be okay though. So, I mentioned my father-in-law being in the hospital. Just got released. Today's Wednesday. Got released Monday. And Margie said, oh boy, it really was quite a spectacle trying to get them into the house. They both need walkers. They only had one because they left one in the car that needed to be repaired. Yeah, very concerned about the health of my father-in-law especially. Was stopped in very briefly last night. He just needed somebody to take their recycling out to the curb. And did that. As I popped my head in, his color just looked so pale. Did not look natural. But they were expecting a visiting nurse to come by. And the comments earlier about, hey, address what you see, not just the one thing you're there for. I'm so hoping that doctors are saying, hey, your breathing isn't so good. Oh, your color's not so good. I know your lab tests all came back X, but something's not right. Hoping. It's a cloudy day here, cool, not terrible. It's supposed to get up to 61. Feels a little cooler than that on my hands. Most trees have lost their leaves, but there are certain kinds of maples, and we've got we've got a couple in our yard that have really been hanging onto the leaves, and the leaves are still very yellow. Little spatters of green here and there. But by now, most trees have lost their leaves, unless they're pin oaks. The pin oaks, of course, keep theirs on until, I don't know, spring. But there are still a few maples. In fact, I can see one across the field. Nice big yellow tree. So we're going to be in the winter barrens for a while until spring comes and everybody starts shooting out their little leaves. I think that just about exhausts all my updates. So thanks for listening in today. And this is Steve from Quakertown, PA. I mentioned my getting a walker's bib for the 5K on Saturday. So my 2-minute run, 1-minute walk, netted me a 37-minute course. Here comes a little puppy. Hi there. How old's your dog?
4 months.
4 months. Oh, yes, still very soft. Hi there. Nice of you to say hi. Very nice. Take care.
Yep.
Playful look in his eyes. Yeah, so I was really disappointed when I went up afterwards and they were looking up my name and they said, oh, we don't find any name. You know, they were looking up my bib number and it's not coming up with anything. I said, oh, you have a walker's bib. So was I mildly disappointed. And then to read about Jim on Sunday was just, agonizing. Harrisburg Marathon, no bib. Ah! So sorry. That's awful. Just the letdown. So I hope Jim's taking it all in stride the best that he can. I know it's a tough one. But, yeah. Well, I still never run a marathon, so I don't know what it's like to put together all your gear, all your stuff, and then go off somewhere. Yeah, so a lot different than my experience. Let's see, I'm looking at a couple of breakfast meetings. One tomorrow morning at 7. One on Friday. I was trying to make it 7, but the person asked for 9 o'clock, which is in the middle of my Friday. I can make it work. I prefer earlier, but so anyway, 2 back-to-back breakfast meetings. And that will about wrap up my week. So until next time, this again is Steve. Hope you're all having good mileage, or at least healthy. Remember to listen to your bodies. Seems like I've been learning that for a good 30 years. I still don't know the language so well. So hope you all are doing well. So till next time.